안녕하세요. 여보세요. 감사합니다. NMIXX roller coaster. It's been a while since. Well, actually, I think it was the "Love Me Like This, Love Me Like That." I think it was that song the last time we checked out NMIXX. Okay, so this is their latest one, their latest song and music video to be dropped, and it's called Roller Coaster. Looks interesting. I heard a few things about it, but still haven't really checked it out at all. So let's see. Going down, going up with you. All right, let's go for a little ride. The third, that was when it dropped, right? I think so. It's a very cool conceptual sort of tie-in there. Fun concept that ends up being kind of a daydream. It's he has a bit of that nostalgic, almost trippy sound. Kind of like there's this very round and bouncy type of bass that's going on throughout a lot of the song. That's sort of very like round 808 bass type of sound. very syncopated rhythms, and the parts that would constitute the rhythm in the mix. It's sort of playing to the concept of the song, right? This roller coaster, because there are several sort of ascending and descending patterns, right? The bass line likes to sort of descend or step down, move as it's moving through the chord progression, and there's a lot of rhythm parts that like to ascend and kind of go up, but they have a lighter pitch, a bit more of a narrow sound. And all in all, it's very sort of round, it's very like circular almost, like from the way this progression of this song actually goes, from where you start off at NMIXX. I remember what is the first time I ever checked out NMIXX, it was the OO song, and they had sort of similar to like early ITZY, where there was really strong contrast as far as the styles that were kind of incorporated into each section, and even with like Love Me Like This, there was definitely was a nice contrast between, say, like the verse section and the chorus when the chorus came around. This is a bit more subtle, and so there's more of that continuity, more of that roundedness, right? Like this, it's very, very smooth. The transition in between sections, going into chorus and back into verse and all that, super smooth. It's not, you know what I mean? Like it isn't a jarring contrast or anything like that. It's not particularly stringent in that regard. So it's a very cool, very blue. You see even the text of this right now, there's lots of blue tones, even in the visual, right? And everything's it's very bouncy, very blue, very cool, very smooth. Really nice vocal work too. Lily's voice is such a nice. It's different from the other members. It's very strong. It's a little bit more low end, and it's sort of it's very complementary to the bass sound in like a song like this. This sort of round shape, bouncy, kind of the body in her voice is very complementary to that. But let's see. Okay, so some diegetic sound, some of the setting here. Very compressed at first. The first bar, it's like super compressed. The compression lifts off, and now that very like, it's round and it's bouncy, but also it's kind of crisp, right? It's like a bit punchy. The bass, it's probably the pairing with the kick drum that's giving it a little bit of that like punch, that little extra bite on it. And we got piano chords. So the 4 count is very intuitive here. The percussion is doing a lot of that work too. That 808 and the kick is definitely, on your downbeat. You have the accented 2 and 4. The piano, sort of electric piano chord sound that's going on in the rhythm is really the main chord sound, and it's very spread out. Like the first beat, you'll hear the chord on that downbeat on the 1, and then it's on the and of 4. So if you count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right, like that's when the next chord comes around. This is a pattern that I've heard in a lot of songs, definitely in other like JYP group songs, and it's so I guess the mix is very minimalist again. There's some ambient type of synth sounds that are going on also, giving it a little bit of that feeling of space, a little bit of that weight, but it's a pretty like sparse mix, which is nice for the vocal sound, because they have the vocal has so much room, to do its thing. I was listening before. I listened a little bit closer this time, but it seemed like most of your main mix sounds, like say the vocal tracks and all of that, is panned right. And then if you listen, much of the production effects on it, the reverb and things like that, are sort of panned left. So you'll hear the vocal in this, and when you hear the sort of echoey reverb effect, that's going to be over here in the left. And it stands out with some of the backing, like harmonizations that are going on too. You'll hear that chord sound being harmonized, and then you'll hear a sort of swirling little echo of the reverb over in the left side. Nice drum fill. Change up. So first change up, right? And moving into this, I guess, second phrase of the verse section. The mix has certainly filled out now. Now we have this synth bass sound that is doing these little arpeggiations, and the it's all the way down on the 16th note subdivision. There's also other little synth sort of like chimes in there, almost these sporadic sort of synth sounds. It was all came off of that drum fill, that very quick brrr, that sort of really separates the phrasings here, right? The first phrase is extremely minimal, lots of space, like a pretty straightforward bass and percussion, and only that electric piano outlining the chords. And even then it was so heavily it was so spread out, right? And now there's more elements in the mix, and they're much busier, right? Like it's really sort of picked up a lot of momentum here. That vocal that's a really nice descending vocal line right there. When I was listening, I was like, okay, you can feel the build up to it. Also, you can feel like as that verse is coming to its end, and it's and again, it's a roller coaster, right? So this concept is coming through in the composition as well, these ascending and descending lines. But her delivery was really nice on that. Oh, another build up. Okay, so when this section sort of this like pre-chorus section, I believe, kicks off, the bass has this attack delay on it, right? So you get a bit of that swelling effect, right, where it's sort of like you can basically pick up the kick at the beginning of it, but then the actual bass sound sort of like swells in, like boom, 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 and then it's another build up, right? By this point in this little pre-chorus section, there's a very high string sound that's going on in the left. It's definitely synth, because the sustain on it is like crazy. It's crazy long. It's like whole note string hits, you know what I mean? And it's definitely like it's much higher up in pitch for sure. Seem to be even like above a lot of the vocal parts. Your vocals also doing this rhythmic sort of syncopated pattern where it's at first a little bit simpler, maybe on the 8th notes, and then it starts to pick up a little bit of the 16th note beats as it goes on, right? So there's again, this building up, and then just like the climb of the roller coaster, and then it will descend, and things will sort of like the mix will sort of go back down, and the rhythms and everything will spread out, right? So it's a very there's a lot of contracting and expanding in terms of your rhythms, in terms of your mix. All of these things are really clinging to demonstrating this concept of this roller coaster type of idea. The bass sound is really fun, right? Once that chorus section comes around, rather, it's really fun. It's super bouncy, it's a very syncopated pattern. Is more eighth notes towards the beginning, but by the end of the last couple of measures or last couple of beats in the measure, that's when you really start to get more sort of like subdivisions in there down to 16th notes. There's of course the vocal harmonizations that are going on, lots of very melodic. It becomes very melodic in the chorus section, and then there are these synth like chimes again, these notes that are very, very high. They're like a very bright kind of warm type of synth sound that's going on. It's left, and it sits very high up in the mix. It sort of accents what the vocal melody is doing, as the vocals sort of ascending and descending on its little melodic line there. You'll hear this wonderful chime sound. It's actually a really nice sound, and it occurs really. It's as if it's spread over the top of that. It gets very interesting. You see, there actually is a lot of measurable difference between the sections, but the choice for specific instrument sounds, say in the mix, is much more streamlined, right? So that's what gives it this nice, smooth continuity, this easygoing transition between your different sections from verse to pre-chorus to chorus. The choreography is also very fun. It looks, they're cute, right? They're very cute. They're doing cute movements and things, that spinning, and then there's even little like sort of wave patterns that they do. It's cool. It's a nice visual, reinforcing that roller coaster idea. It's very melodic. So, like, it starts up already high in the register, and then goes even higher, like up into that sort of falsetto range, and it's an extremely melodic chorus, which is, I mean, sometimes depending on the group and everything, you might even get a chorus that relies more on an instrumental. So it's a very nice execution of that type of an approach, actually, if you want to be like much more melodic, if you want to lean much more into the vocal melody for your chorus section, and it's very nicely done. Yeah, Lily, it's like, I wish she had more, right? Like, I want to hear her voice more in this song because it complements the mix so well. It's there's that body. There's I don't know. There's something about it, right? She sound the sort of sound that she makes is, it's almost like it should be coming out of somebody who's older. You know what I mean? Like it has this quality of it that has this sort of soul and this this depth to it. It's a very nice type of tone, and basically where her range sits. It's works so well with this type of mix, with this very round and bouncy, rich in body type of bass aspect of the mix. It's really, really complementary to this, and it's a very pleasant combination. You see, the melody, like that line is so clear. You can see it almost. Dun dun da 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 da, and then it's an antecedent consequent phrasing again, right? The first half of the phrase is ascending, and intuitively already that the second half of the phrase, the consequent, is going to bring it back down. And it's a through line to the entire production, and it's clever. I mean, why not? That antecedent consequent phrasing is intuitive and is used in a lot of different songs, but why not have a concept like roller coaster? Why not have a concept that plays into that, basically? I think it's really, really smart. You know what I mean? It makes sense. Compression. Da 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 da. Coming back down. It's fun. It makes more sense than it doesn't. You know what I mean? And just like the beginning, the sort of opening measure that you get with the vocals, lots of compression on it. Same thing again on the way out, right? I guess it's her going sort of into the daydream and then also coming back out of it. It's fun. It's like I said, it's very it's got this very smooth, streamlined, continuity to it. It's very blue. See, like you're still seeing blue, right? The water imagery, this blue color here, a whale, right? A blue whale. It looks like you get blues and greens. Look, see, there's like these shots right here, right? There's definitely like a filter that is bringing up the level of the blues and all this color, and the sound is also very, very blue. Like everything about this song, tonal wise, is extremely blue. Blue on the shirt, blue, light blue curtains, sky blue, blue, right? Here we got a little bit of a change up, but it's green, it's summery. We got some pinks here. Blue, A Midsummer Night's what was it, the A Midsummer NMIXX, that, right? That's the I think the something that's the album or whichever, I think it's what it's called, right? So just sort of tight blue again. Look, blue on the flyers here. Blue for the sort of foam around the end zone thing there. into greens. How incredible. Green, some blue back here. Lily, she changes everything. She really does change up the tone of everything, vocally, visually. Again, blues, right? Blue, blue, where's it? Blue, water, the water, blue. Even see, everything's blue. It's all blue. Here, different blues, right? Even the books back here, blue. A picture of water back here, blue. It matches the tone, the tone of this song. Her tail, blue, right? Blue jeans, blue tail. Yeah, everything about this is tonally very blue, and it's also very cool. And so I think it has that tonal quality to it, and then of course its shape, it's everything is ascending and descending, antecedent, consequent, lots of expanding and contracting, and as far as the rhythms and the different patterns that are going on. And it's fun. It's supposed to be a fun ride. It's supposed to be going for a ride and everything. Even this blue lettering, blue highlighting, it's very much has that quality. So we got a lot of blue even in the ending NMIXX logo here at the finish. So it kind of has a chill, like almost lo-fi feel to it. Not quite. Maybe a sort of a light, like EDM feel, but it's very, very bass heavy and quite minimal. And with some of the production aspects, it kind of borders on that lo-fi type of a vibe. But it is very cool, and I really enjoy the melodies on a lot of the vocal lines. I think they're wonderful. They make wonderful use of that antecedent, consequent phrasing type of structure. The mix is very fun. The bounciness of the bass and the percussion that's going on, and the bass line really expands and gets like much more interesting in certain sections of the song. It's really fun. I think it's a good a way of expressing like the concept, right, of the roller coaster, the way that it builds up and then sort of expands a little bit, releases, the constant ascending and descending, in all your parts, the way your bass line likes to descend, and then a lot of your rhythm parts are sort of walking up, and the melodic lines are all so they're so pleasant. They're really pleasant, but the space in between your low end sounds and then your high end sounds, right? The vocal likes to, it's in a very, very comfortable spot. Like, it's really, really nice. And I think that's ultimately why some of the production is handled a certain way, where you have like the main vocal panned right, and then a lot of that like I said, reverb and stuff is over here on the left. It's a good idea to make use of the sort of lateral space that you have going on within the mix, and so it's very fun. It's very enjoyable. I would not mind hearing Lily's voice a little bit more, in the song. Because it, like I said, it complements the mix so well, and I think that it could maybe perhaps balance out the overall start to finish, the vocal part of the mix, if maybe she had a couple of more lines in there, but still very good, very enjoyable. I think it's a fun, a summer type of feel to it, right? Everybody's everybody's doing that right now. Like, you know what I mean? We just checked out the Nizu Coconut song, NMIXX Roller Coaster, even Hare Hare. Like, all the stuff that's coming out right now, very much playing into this summer type of vibe. You know what I mean? That's going on. Things very cool and everything is very blue. That's the thing right now. That's what's going on. And this is a great song, man. It's great. I enjoyed basically everything about this. Choreography, like I said, that's fun too. As they're doing some very fun movements. Everything about it is very pleasant. And so I don't know what else is out from NMIXX right now. I'll have to double check. I thought I saw like maybe one other song, but if not, I'm sure something is coming up like fairly soon. So we keep an eye out for that. But NMIXX Roller Coaster, it definitely is fun. It's it's a very like comfortable song. You know what I mean? Like this is very easy to listen to for sure. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed especially the melodic lines and the bass. It's a very fun song for sure. So I'll be looking forward to whatever the next thing is that NMIXX is gonna drop.